hooky or taking a day off or you're independently wealthy or whatever, but thanks for joining us. First I want to ask, is there anyone from the press here who has not received the press package? Anybody from the press who has not received the press package? Okay. My name is Gary Higginbottom. I've been involved with the Maine Impeach group pretty much from the beginning. It's been a very satisfying process, but we're not quite there yet. Not just anybody can come to Augusta on a work day. I know it's certainly cutting into people's revenue generation. It's cutting into mine. But there's just a few hundred legislators inside who represent all of the people of the state of Maine. We've got at least that many people here right now, and we're also representing all the state of Maine. So just like not every citizen gets to come to Augusta and serve in the legislature, representatives do. You are the emissaries for the thousands of people in Maine who want impeachment to happen, and there are thousands. And those people feel very strongly about it. And for those people who say there aren't very many people in favor of impeachment, I want to show you something. This volume is 11,223 names of people in the state of Maine who want the legislature and our congressmen action on impeachment. Small task for someone to put their name on a document that's going to go in front of the legislative leadership that's being delivered to Congressman Misha's office, to Congressman Tom Allen's office. That's not just your typical petition. That is a major commitment of a person's beliefs to sign something like this and have their name submitted. And I think we should have a round of applause for all 11,000 of those people. So what does this petition want? It wants the impeachment process to be undertaken in the U.S. House of Representatives. That's the ultimate goal. And that means Tom Allen and Mike Michaud. The process in the House of Representatives in Washington is a process which starts with an extensive investigation by the House of Representatives of apparent wrongdoings by the presidential administration. This petition wants Maine members of the U.S. House of Representatives, Mike Michaud and Tom Allen, to back impeachment in the House and ask the Maine legislature to act on a resolution for impeachment, which, under the rules of operation of the U.S. Congress, can start impeachment action by Congress. Our legislature can start impeachment action. Those are the rules that are written into the rules of operation of the U.S. House of Representatives. And a lot of people in the state, a lot of people who are in this chamber right now, do not know that. But we have a couple of people who are here, one in particular from the legislature who is standing right over there, who does know it, and he knows it very well. I want to introduce to you Senator Ethan Strimling from the city of Portland. I know Ethan needs to get back inside to carry out business, so I want Ethan to say a few words here. Ethan has been discussing this with me since January, and I know Ethan is on board, and he's got some things to tell you about where this process goes from here. Thank you.
Gary is absolutely right. He and I began a conversation about this quite a while ago, and I'll tell you, the issues when we started were that what I didn't want to do was come forward into this building and begin something like this and have us lose miserably, because that just gives them, down in D.C., down in the White House, the feeling like they've succeeded. And at that time, Gary said, okay, we're beginning a process of gathering signatures. And I said, look, Gary, if you can get 10,000 signatures and bring them up to the State House, then you'll be making some noise that the legislature will have to hear. And Gary did exactly that, and you better believe inside the building right now, they know you're out here. That's why they're I'll tell you the other piece. 4 years ago, before this war began, I sponsored a resolution opposing the war in Iraq, and the Maine Senate became the first legislative body in the nation to go on record opposing that war and calling on war. And that was at any time. But I'll tell you, it was hard because you weren't sure whether you had the support of the people behind you. You felt like you might. But today, when you hand us, where is that book? When you hand us something like this, it tells us, and I got to tell you, I run committees, serve on committees. We never get 12,000 signatures supporting a piece of legislation. Never do we get 12,000. Tell you, after talking to Gary this weekend and after hearing about all of you coming up today, this morning with a bill on the legislation to begin to debate the process of whether or not we should begin. Now I want to tell you, that's just the beginning though, because what I don't want to have happen, and I'll be honest with you here, what I don't want to have happen is that the process begins and then we lose. There's a long process to go through, and pressure needs to mount before we actually get to a debate. Because to bring this to the floor, and I'm just being honest with you, to bring it to the floor and have us lose will not help.
That's not true. I don't agree with that.
Well, I hear you. I hear you. But I've been up there and I've seen these debates, and we get a 33-2 vote against. Basically, the other side walks away feeling like they got it. But we're here today. We don't quit. You're right, and that's why we're here. I encourage you to keep pushing to see what we can get done. Now, let me be honest with you here again. And this is important, because I think there's a lot of people inside who don't understand. I don't know whether George Bush should be impeached. I'm being honest with you right now. I don't know for sure. But what I do know for sure is anybody who says we shouldn't even have the debate, anybody who says we shouldn't even ask how is it that we got into this war when we were lied to for months and months and years, when people who say we can't even have the debate about the illegal wiretapping of Americans' phones, when people say we can't even have the debate about the fact that people were tortured in our prisons, to that I say no more. The debate must be public, it must be loud, and we must have it everywhere we possibly can. Keep up the good work, keep gathering signatures, and keep calling your legislators and let them know. Let them know you want this debate to go forward so that we can begin the process. Thank you all for all of your incredible work.
Wasn't entirely clear. What we have is a sponsor for our resolution.